Thanks for tuning in to our first episode of Take 15.
This year, we are bringing you stories of people who exemplify Verana's core values. We always strive to be thoughtful, honorable, inspiring, and safe.
So we have chosen people in our community who work towards those values every day. Our first video is about Michelle Tyler. She is a bone and joint physical therapist.
Michelle inspires and pushes patients to recover quickly, and her dedication and determination inspires us. Here are Sidra and Kaya with more on the story.
What inspired you to become a physical therapist?
So when I was in high school, a very good friend of mine had a hip issue and had to go to physical therapy, and I often went with her. So my first exposure was watching a very good friend participate in physical therapy and then be able to get back to being athletic and participating in the things that had previously been an issue.
How would you describe a typical day in your life as a physical therapist?
I treat patients. I do documentation of our treatments. I interact with physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, other co-workers. Within our sports medicine staff, we have athletic trainers and strength and conditioning coaches. So we work as one big team, and oftentimes a patient might touch on several aspects of the team, so we interact with each other. I also am a leader within the clinic. I'm a clinical coordinator, so I oversee the day-to-day activities of our physical therapy staff.
What is your favorite part about being a physical therapist?
100% hands down patient interaction. And it goes beyond just the individual. Sometimes it is siblings and parents and the family, or for that matter, if there's someone else involved, maybe from school, a coach or athletic trainer. Lots of times we find out that someone's injury or problems associated with it is not individual. Sometimes it involves a whole bigger team of people, and it's amazing what you can do for the whole team.
If you've ever broken a bone, there's a high chance that you've gone to physical therapy. But did you know physical therapy can also help with diabetes, headaches, and balance? What advice do you give to patients to keep them motivated?
I think it's important to be realistic. We always start with little things. We always try and make sure that we're looking at the here and now, not necessarily overstepping and looking 6, 8, 12 months down the road, so that we make progress small and realistic.
How do the lives of patients impact yours?
Greatly. There is something that is amazing about having a patient come in and smile, even though they're 3 days post-op, or they're struggling with an injury, or they haven't gotten their range of motion back or their strength back. There's something inspirational seeing week-to-week progress, day-to-day progress, month-to-month progress. The special things are that once someone leaves us and they've gotten back to where they were, and we get a picture, or we get a newspaper clipping, or someone has an interview after a game, and then they give the shout out that couldn't have done it without. Those are things that are just amazing.
What experience is most memorable from an interaction that you've had with the patient?
So it's hard to pinpoint after 30 years one particular one, but there are several that pull on your heartstrings. Maybe were an injury that significantly altered their lifestyle, or injury that took a long time to come back from. But to be a part of someone's journey and eventually see them overcome it, whether it's resume back to a sport, resume back to work, maybe it's resume back walking and being functional, those things are probably the most inspirational. What's also inspirational is how they can take a very positive attitude, have a positive outcome on something that could be very overwhelming. And other patients within our clinic also become inspired by that.
Reporting for CFC TV, I'm Kaya McCrae.
Thanks, Kai and Sidra, for that inspirational video. We now move to a story about an amazing little girl.
Jace Taylor was extremely premature when she was born. She was born 3 months before her actual due date. Her story gives hope to families everywhere.
Here's Olivia and Kennedy with Jace's inspiring story.
When I went into labor, I was scared and nervous because I went into labor 4 months early.
Here we are at the home of Jace Taylor and her wonderful family. They've become an inspiration to many.
Born 4 months prior to her initial due date, Jace is now 1 year old. Thanks to medical advances, her amazing nurses, and her joyful family, her mom can tell her story with Jace right by her side. How did it feel to finally be home with Jace?
It was exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. It was the first time having a preemie, so I didn't know what to expect. For so many months, there were nurses that were taking care of her, around the clock, and it was just me and her dad taking care of her without the nurses, so it was kind of scary.
Were there any difficult times in the NICU?
Yeah, there were several difficult times. In the beginning, it was difficult just watching them do CPR on an infant that was about the size of a water bottle. It was hard to see that. It was difficult knowing that she had to get eye surgery and being there for that. And small things that they had to do, which for adults is something easy, but for an infant of her size and the complications she was having, it was difficult, so it was kind of nerve-wracking.
How was going back to work after having Jace?
It was horrible. I missed her, and I had postpartum depression, and work was stressful. And just not knowing how she was. I went from being at the NICU with her every day to only being with her a part of the day. So I didn't get to really see what was going on.
It was a tough time because being home with her for so long and then going back to work, leaving her, even though she was with mom. And it was tough. But as she got older and a little bit stronger and was doing better, it got easier.
How much did you learn from the entire experience?
I learned a lot. I learned how to be thankful for life and appreciate your children and your family more. Just seeing a lot of things in the NICU and having people and knowing people whose children didn't make it or are still in the hospital. So I'm just very thankful that she's able to be here with us.
How has your life changed after giving birth to Jace?
It's changed a lot. I don't want to have any more babies because it's scary on what could possibly happen. And I just don't want to have to go through that again. And like I said earlier, just makes you appreciate life more.
How has Jace become an inspiration to you?
She's just such a strong baby, and she's so tough, and nothing really phases her. She's gone through so much, and she just keeps on growing, and she's super smart, and she's just such a blessing and a miracle.
Reporting from CFC TV, this is Kennedy McDonald.
Our third video features a local nonprofit organization.
Richmond Animal League is a no-kill shelter that has been finding animals homes since 1979.
Here's Matea and Emma with the story.
Here at Richmond Animal League, thousands of cats and dogs are taken in each year. I'm Matea Knight with more information about this organization. Richmond Animal League is the area's oldest no-kill nonprofit organization. They are committed to reducing animal homelessness. They were founded in 1979, and for many years they rented a kennel in Chesterfield. And in 1994, they opened their very own facility. This is their current facility, and it is located across from Chesterfield Town Center. They just recently had their 40th anniversary. They can hold up to 30 dogs and 60 cats or kittens. Since their facility opened, they have helped thousands of animals. They found homes for more than 2,000 animals in 2015. And in 2017, Richmond Animal League had a 98% live release rate. They currently have 15 full-time employees, but they heavily rely on volunteers. They have more than 300 active volunteers. To volunteer, you can fill out an application on their website, ral.org. But if you're looking to adopt one of these cute little ones, the adoption process from Richmond Animal League is a first-come, first-served application process. Richmond Animal League has become better at getting animals in, preparing them for adoption, and finding them their forever home. They have their own on-site Loving Spay and Neuter clinic. Their Loving Spay and Neuter clinic offers services to private owners, rescue organizations, and municipal shelters. At their clinic, they offer vaccinations, flea and tick prevention, and many more. While being such an amazing organization, Richmond Animal League receives no finances from government agencies or humane societies. They rely solely on private donations, adoption fees, grants, and fundraising activities. We asked Casey Robertson, Director of Development, how she would define Richmond Animal League, and she said, providing hope, help, and homes to animals in need. The Richmond Animal League organization is committed to reducing the homeless pet population in the Richmond area. You can change the lives of animals in Central Virginia. I'm Matea Knight, reporting from CFC TV.
Well, that's all we have for this month's show. Thanks for joining us.
Continue to be thoughtful, honorable, inspiring, and safe in the community.
Thanks. See you next time.